All right, so this will be the chapter review for chapter 11. First two questions, excluded values. What numbers are absolutely irrelevant when we're doing excluded values? Anybody? Which are the numerators. Okay, so ignore the numerators and look at the denominators. So we're going to focus on the first one. Luke, x squared minus 12x minus 28. What do I do with it?
You make
two parentheses, so I'm going to factor it. All right, and what are the numbers? Yes, I'm going to stay with you the whole problem.
7.
14 and 2? Yeah, that's good. All right. So 14 and 2 gives me 28. Which one has to be? Shh. I just don't want it to be a 47-minute review video, okay? So which numbers? Which one? Minus 14 plus 2. Okay. All right. So then I would tee it up. And so my excluded value is going to be 14. And my other excluded value is going to be negative 2. Okay. Now, looking at the second one, Scott, what should we see right away in the second one?
The denominator are both perfect squares.
Is difference of two perfect squares. So how do I factor it? Nope.
Two parentheses. Oh, and x or plus and minus.
Okay. X plus, x minus, and what's the square root of 64? 8. Tee it up. So what are my excluded values? Okay, x equals negative 8, x equals 8. Some have asked me if they can put plus or minus 8. That's fine. It works. I'm perfectly okay with that. All right. So you'll have two excluded values problems. The rest of them are going to be multiple choice and just simplifying. Okay. So number 3. Simplify the expression negative 3x squared times 4x to the 5th divided by 9x to the 6th. Okay, Brooke, when I multiply negative 3x squared times 4x to the 5th, what do I get? To the 7th, okay, and then I'm going to put it over 9x to the 6th. Now keep going. What do I do with the negative 12 and the 9? Shh. Okay, but 9's not going to go into 12, so what's my next option? I can divide it by a number they have in common. Simplify it by what? 3. Okay, so negative 12 divided by 3? Negative 4. And then 9 divided by 3? 3. Okay, now let's move on to the x's. What's x to the 7th divided by x to the 6th? Just x. Top or bottom? Top. When, in that case, would the x go to the bottom? If it's a negative exponent. Perfect. Okay. Question number 4. 4x minus 16 divided by x squared minus 16. Nick, how do I factor 4x minus 16? Ooh. Oh, Kobe, help him out. Distributive property. What's on the outside? 4. What's on the inside?
X minus 4.
Okay, your brain should be thinking if there's an x minus 4 on the top, there's a good chance there's going to be an x minus 4 on the bottom. Kobe, keep going. How do I factor x squared minus 16? Two parentheses.
And then you're going to put a plus and minus. Oh, x, 2 x's, and plus minus, and 4 on each side.
Okay, x squared minus 16 is a perfect square binomial. All right, so now, Kobe, keep going.
You're going to cancel out the x minus 4s, and then you're going to be left with 4 all over x plus 4.
Okay, number 5 is a monomial divided by a monomial. So we've got 32x squared y divided by 2x to the 4th y. Zach, you're up. What do we do first? And what do we get? 16. I'm not going to put 16 over 1 because I don't wear 2 over 1 shoes. I wear 2 shoes. Okay, so simplify the ones, folks. Let's go to the x's. X squared divided by x to the fourth is to the negative second. What does that mean? It goes to the bottom, becomes positive. And what happens to the y's? They cancel. So it's just 16x, or excuse me, 16 over x squared. Now, for those of you, I'm going to show you another trick. For those of you who are struggling with the negative exponent thing still and you can't remember where to put it, write it out like this. This is another way to write x squared. Would you agree?
Yes.
And then this is another way to write x to the fourth. Would you agree?
Yes.
And since we've learned we can cancel one for one in anything we do, if this cancels and this cancels, where are my x's at? They're on the bottom. Okay? If that helps you see it a little bit better, use that method. Okay? Shh. Question number 6. X squared plus 4x minus 32 divided by x plus 8. All right, Dakota, this is yours. Factor x squared plus 4x minus 32 for me.
Parentheses x plus 8, parentheses x minus 4. All over x plus 8.
Okay? And so now what do I do?
You mark out the x plus 8.
Okay?
That's the answer.
Okay, x minus 4. After I've canceled the x plus 8s, that's all I got left. All right, number 7. Okay, now we're going to be multiplying two monomials. So 3x over 16x squared times 8x squared over 3. Okay, how many of you did the multiplication method where you just multiplied across the top and then you canceled at the end? None of you. That's the way I was going to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one, and I'm going to do it that way just because you guys didn't, because I'm cool like that. So I would get 24x cubed all over 48x squared. Okay? And so now I look at the 24 and the 48, and I reduce them. It's going to be 1/2. I'm not going to put the 1 on the top. But I notice x to the third divided by x squared is x. So this is going to simply end up x over 2.
Yes.
How many got that? Good. Okay, number 8. 2x plus 6 divided by x squared divided by x plus 3. Okay, remember to make the x plus 3 into a fraction, and you should be thinking keep, change, flip right now. Okay, so let's give this one to Matt. All right, Matt, what do we do with the 2x plus 6?
You use distributive property.
Okay, so what do I get?
2 in parentheses x plus 3
Okay,
over x squared
okay,
and times 1 over x plus 3. Cancel out the x plus 3's and then 2 over x squared. Is the answer. Yeah.
perfect. Okay, factor the 2x plus 6. Flip the x plus 3 over 1. Shh. Cancel the x plus 3's. And all you end up with is 2 over x squared. All right, question number 9. Okay, now, as we talked about earlier, this is the one where I individually divide by 6x. So I'm going to take the 2x squared divided by 6x plus 16x divided by 6x. Okay, so the first step is to take the 2x squared and divide it by 6x. And then we're going to take the 16x and divide it by 6x. And then we'll see what we come up with. Okay? So when I look at the numbers, 2 over 6 is going to end up being what? Anybody? 1/3. Again, I'm not going to put the 1 on top. What is x squared divided by x? X. So this is going to be x over 3. Again, the x squared divided by x is x, stays on the top, and 2/6 reduces to 1/3. Okay. Now, second one, What happens to the x's in the second one? They cancel. So now we just reduce 16 over 6, which is 8 over 3. If you stopped here, you will receive half credit. Because what do you see with those two fractions? They have a common denominator. So I have to go one step further and express it as x plus 8 over 3. That is the full credit answer. That's the half credit answer. Get the full credit answer. Okay? If they didn't have common denominators at that point, you would stop. If, for example, this was 8 over 7, your answer would be x over 3 plus 8 over 7. You'd be done. Okay? The only reason I went further is because of the common denominators. Okay, question number 10. Now we get into our addition. We need to think common denominators. We look at it right away. We realize it doesn't have common denominators, so we have to make them. So we've got 4x over yz plus 2x over 4yz.
But you never even told us how to do the other one. I have no idea how to do it.
Where'd it go?
I think it got deleted.
Okay, so what's my common denominator?
4yz.
4yz. The second one's already a 4yz, so I don't have to do anything to it. The first one I'm going to have to multiply by 4. So that's going to be 16x over 4yz plus 2x over 4yz.
Why would you multiply by 4? It gets common denominator.
How would I have to multiply that to make it a 4yz?
By
4. That's why. Okay. So 16x and 2x is 18x. So I have 18x over 4yz. And I've got one more step. I need to reduce the 18 over 4 to what? 9 over 2. So that's 9x over 2yz.
So you want it since it's 5.
Okay, number 11, 3n over n minus 4 plus 6n over 4 minus n. This is one of our very specific problems. It has specific traits. There is one step to solving it, or to making it look the same. By looking at the denominators, what's the difference between n and negative n? They're opposites, okay? What's the difference between negative 4 and positive 4? So these are called what? Inverses, okay? So to change one of them into its inverse, what do I multiply by, Blake? Negative 1. So I'm going to multiply, because I like the order of n minus 4, because that's what we're used to seeing it. I'm going to multiply the second one by negative 1. So I take this entire thing, and I multiply it by negative 1. The first one doesn't change. The second one, what is 6n times negative 1?
Negative 6.
Okay. And we know that we've already multiplied through by negative 1, so it should look the same as the first one. So I can just save myself some time and put n minus 4. Now, combine like terms. What is 3n minus 6n? Negative 3n all over n minus 4. Okay? Do all three of them have common terms? No. So I am done. Negative 3n divided by n minus 4. Okay. Number 12 is one of our complex fractions. Okay, fraction within a fraction. There are 3 expressions there that I can factor. So 3 out of the 4 of those you will need to factor before you can do any canceling. Okay? All right, Drew, this is all yours. Start at the top. You can just tell me the x minus x plus will save some time. So what do you got? Okay, x minus 9, x plus 2.
And then on the bottom, I have times x plus 1 and, or, I can't really see the board. I crossed out on my
Oh, okay.
minus 1 and x minus 1.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
and then on the top, just x minus 1.
Okay, so he flipped his second one.
Parentheses, x minus 9 plus 9.
Okay. Okay. So factor the trinomials on the top, and then on the bottom, that's a perfect square binomial. Okay. So the factoring is correct. Now we start canceling. We've got 1x minus 9, 1x minus 9,
X minus 1.
1x minus 1, and only 1. Don't cancel both of them on the bottom. You can only cancel 1 for 1. Okay? So I end up with x plus 2 all over x minus 1 times x plus 9. A lot of questions yesterday on the review, or on some of the questions, was, do I leave that as binomials or do I make it a trinomial? I don't care either way. I would save myself some time, leave it like that, put a box around it, get to the next question. Okay, they are both correct. If you did make that a trinomial, that would be x squared plus 8x minus 9, for any of you who went that far. Okay. All right. So if I have a proportion and I cross multiply, Carson, what do I come up with? If I cross multiply, what do I come up with? 3x.
2x plus 10.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So if I'm going to solve for x, now I want to get the x's together. So now we're down to a single step algebra problem. Carson, what do I do? Subtract the 2x. And x equals 10. Okay. Okay. Number 14. I need to set up a proportion. The problem is I have two fractions on this side. I need it to be one fraction. Okay, so I'm going to ignore the 3x over 8 for now, and I'm going to put the two fractions on the left-hand side together to make one fraction. To do that, how am I going to add fractions together? Braden? I need common denominators. What's the common denominator between 4 and 2? Braden, keep going. 4. All right, so this one's already a 4, so I leave it a 4. If I change this one to a 4, what does it change the 1 into? A 2. So this now becomes 5x plus 2 all over 4. All right, so I've got 5x plus 2 over 4. Now I'm going to bring down my 3x over 8. And now you notice I have a proportion. I have one fraction compared to another fraction, so I'm going to cross multiply and solve for x. So, Carrington, 5x plus 2 times 8.
Times?
Yes, we cross multiply.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
40x plus 16.
Okay. Keep going. What's 4 times 3x?
12x.
12x. Okay, now, this is the part where sometimes the things I say are not 100% accurate. A lot of times I say, take the smallest one to the biggest one. In this case, if I take the 12x over the 40x, I don't have anything left on the right, and that's not going to help me. So in this one case, I'm going to take the 40 to the right-hand side by doing what? Oh, subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 40x to this side. And that leaves me with negative 28x equals 16. Now I've got one step to go. What am I going to do to solve? Divide by negative 28. Obviously, negative 28 is not going to divide into 16 evenly, so we're just going to reduce it. What is 16 over negative 28 reduced? Braden? Don't raise your hand if you don't have the answer. Drew? 4 over negative 7. You could have negative 4 over 7. It doesn't matter. Either way is fine. As long
Divided by.
4s. Yep, 4s. If you went by 2s, you would have got 8 over 14 and then go one more step. Yeah. Okay, number 15, y plus 2 over y minus 2 minus 2 over y plus 2 equals negative 7/3. Again, I want to combine the 2 on the left-hand side into one fraction. I'm going to ignore my negative 7/3 for now and then bring it in at the end. So looking at the ones on the left, some of you might be thinking, oh, that's an inverse. That's a y minus 2 and that's a y plus 2. But it's not an inverse because both of the y's are the same sign. They're both positive. So this is just one of those where they don't have anything in common in the denominators. So what do we do to find a common denominator, Blake? Multiply them together. So my denominator is going to be y minus 2 times y plus 2.
I thought you cross multiplied.
This is not, we're not there yet. That's the very last step. Sir?
Subtraction sign makes a y.
Just hold on. I'll get there. Okay, so now on the left-hand fraction, it has a y minus 2. What does it not have? A y plus 2. So I need to multiply the numerator, which coincidentally is y plus 2, times y plus 2. How do I multiply binomials together? FOIL method. So when I FOIL that, what am I going to come up with?
Y squared plus 4y plus 4.
Y squared plus 4y plus 4. All right, so the left-handed fraction is done. Now let's move to the right-handed fraction. I shouldn't say right, maybe middle, since it's the middle of the three. Okay, it has a y plus 2. What does it not have that's in the denominator? A y minus 2. So I need to take, and here's the answer to Braden's question, I need to take a negative 2 times y minus 2. Some of you will still fight me and say that's not a negative sign, Mr. Renault. It's a subtraction sign. It's the same thing. Okay, so what's negative 2 times y minus 2? Caleb?
Negative 2 plus 4.
Whoa. There's a y in there. Give me a y, something.
Oh, negative 2y plus 4.
Negative 2y plus 4. Okay. Okay. I'm going to erase this because I don't like the place I put it. Okay. Now what should I do on the numerator? Mhm. Combine like terms. Are there any other y squareds to combine with? No. How about y's? Yes. 4y minus 2y is plus 2y. And 4 plus 4 is 8. Now, here's the trick. I have a y minus 2 and a y plus 2 on the bottom. Does anybody see what that is? It's a perfect square. Go in the other direction. What's the perfect square going to be? Y squared minus 4. Okay? Now, for those of you who don't see that, if you FOIL those together, you would get y squared minus 4. So feel free to FOIL it if you don't see it right away and come up with that. Now, do I have a single fraction over here? Yes. Now I bring down my negative 7/3.
Is it always going to be a perfect square?
No, this one just happened to be.
How do you do it if it's not FOIL?
Yes. I can't do every single problem. I can't do it. All right. What do I do? Cross multiply. This is a little more intense because there's a lot more digits and values, but it's not that big a deal. I'm going to multiply that trinomial by 3. So what's 3 times y squared? 3y squared. 2y times 3? 6y. 8 times 3? 24. Now go to the perfect square and multiply it by negative 7. What's negative 7 times y squared?
Negative 7y squared.
Negative 7. You guys sound like robots. That's awesome. Okay, negative 7 times negative 4? Positive 28. Now I have a problem. Because I have squareds on both sides. I have numbers on both sides. I know it's going to be a trinomial, so I need to put everything together. So my question is, do I take all of this over there, or do I take these two values over there? Let's go from right to left. Yeah. How do I get a negative 7y squared to the left-hand side? Add it. And I'm going to save you a step here. How do I get a positive 28 to the other side? Subtract it. Okay. We're getting close. So that gives me 10y squared plus 6y minus 4. Huh. I have a trinomial. What on earth should I do to a trinomial? Factor it. Okay. So two sets of parentheses. What are the factors of 10? 5 and 2, or 1 and 10. Okay. Which ones are closer together? 5 and 2. So I give you the advice to test the ones that are closest together first. What are the factors of 4? 2 and 2, or 4 and 1. Closest together is 2 and 2. I don't put in any signs. This is when I summon the secret of the oi, and I just look at outside, inside. What is 5y times 2? 10y. What is 2 times 2y? 4y. Can I put a 10 and a 4 together to make 6? A 10 and a 4 together to make 6? 10 minus 4 is 6. All right, so I need a positive 10 minus 4. Okay? So yeah. One of them has to be positive, one has to be negative. Again, if I FOILed that out, I would get 10y squared plus 6y minus 4. I'm almost home. I got one more step. Tee it up. All right. Again, I'm going to save a little time because I know we're a little wore out after this review. That's going to be 2/5. And this one is going to be -1. And that, my friends, is an 8-point problem. Okay? Again, yes, it's double the amount as any other because it actually takes more than double the time of the others. 1 does not equal 4 in any math that we ever do. Never.